Able. She was able to complete the task quickly. Acid. The scientist carefully handled the acid in the lab. Aged. The aged cheese had a strong, distinctive flavor. Area. The picnic area was crowded with families. Army. The army marched through the town at dawn. Auto. He drove his auto to the mechanic for a tune-up. Also. She also brought a cake to the party. Arid. The arid desert stretched out for miles. Anew. They decided to start their journey anew. Ally. She found an ally in her new colleague. Axis. The Earth's axis is tilted, causing the seasons. Aloe. She applied aloe to soothe her sunburn. Aid. The aid helped organize the event. Apex. They reached the apex of the mountain by noon. Arch. The old bridge had a beautiful stone arch. Atom. The scientist studied the behavior of the atom. Ajar. The door was left slightly ajar, letting in a breeze. Airy. The room was light and airy, with large windows. Alto. She sang in the alto section of the choir. Awry. The plan went awry when it started to rain. Arty. The cafe had an arty vibe with paintings on the walls. Axle. The mechanic inspected the car's axle for damage. Aces. He was holding a pair of aces in the poker game. Ails. She was not sure what ails her, but she felt unwell. Arcs. The fireworks displayed colorful arcs across the sky. Amps. The band cranked up the amps before the concert. Aims. He aims to complete the project by next week. Atop. The cat sat atop the highest shelf, surveying the room. Arms. The soldier carried his arms with precision. Ails. The doctor asked what ails her to determine the treatment. Arcs. The children built model arcs out of wood. Ashy. Her face turned ashy when she heard the bad news. Ahem. Ahem, he cleared his throat to get everyone's attention. Apes. The apes at the zoo were very active today. Axed. The company axed several projects due to budget cuts. Arid. The arid climate made it difficult for plants to grow. Amok. The children ran amok in the playground, full of energy. Ants. The ants marched in a straight line towards the food. Aura. She had an aura of confidence that inspired others. Ages. The castle has stood for ages, weathering many storms. Acts. The play consisted of 3 acts, each more thrilling than the last. Adds. She always adds a little extra spice to her recipes. Ails. He went to the doctor to find out what ails him. Ares. In mythology, Ares was the god of war. Ales. They sampled various ales at the brewery. AIDS. The organization provides aids for those in need. Apps. He downloaded several new apps on his phone. Axes. The lumberjack carried 2 axes over his shoulder. Ails. She couldn't figure out what ails her, but she felt off. Aged. The wine aged beautifully in the oak barrels. Ball. The ball bounced high into the air. Base. They set up their base camp near the river. Bank. She deposited the check at the bank. Best. He always strives to be the best in his class. Bath. A warm bath helped her relax after a long day. Blue. The sky was a clear, bright blue. Band. The band played a lively tune at the concert. Back. She hurt her back while lifting heavy boxes. Bark. The dog's bark echoed through the neighborhood. Beam. A beam of sunlight shone through the window. Barn. The horses were kept in the large barn. Bill. He paid the bill at the restaurant. Bold. She made a bold statement with her colorful outfit. Bend. The road began to bend sharply to the left. Belt. He tightened his belt before starting the hike. Boot. She pulled on her boot and headed out into the snow. Bust. The police made a bust on the illegal operation. Burn. The fire continued to burn well into the night. Bush. A rabbit darted out from behind the bush. Bulk. They bought the groceries in bulk to save money. Bait. The fishermen prepared the bait for the day's catch. Bark. The tree's bark was rough and covered in moss. Bald. The man with the bald head wore a hat to keep warm. Bump. She felt a bump as the car went over a pothole. Barn. The old barn was painted a deep red color. Blot. She used a tissue to blot the ink stain on her shirt. Bred. The horses were bred for racing. Buzz. The buzz of the bees filled the garden. Bunk. The children slept in bunk beds during the camp. Brim. His hat was pulled low over the brim. Bide. She decided to bide her time and wait for the right moment. Bark. The old tree's bark was tough and weathered. Byte. The computer processed the data byte by byte. Brat. The spoiled brat threw a tantrum in the store. Base. They established their base near the mountains. Boil. The water began to boil on the stove. Bind. The contract would legally bind both parties. Beat. The drummer kept a steady beat throughout the song. Brim. The cup was filled to the brim with coffee. Blib. There was a brief blip on the radar screen. Boon. The new law was a boon to small businesses. Bulk. She ordered the materials in bulk to save on costs. Blur. The passing car was just a blur in the heavy rain. Balk. He didn't balk at the challenge, but faced it head-on. Bolt. The horse suddenly took off at a bolt. Bias. The article was criticized for its clear bias. Brag. He couldn't help but brag about his accomplishments. Blot. She carefully blotted the ink spill on the paper. Brim. The river was filled to the brim after the heavy rains. Bulk. The bulk of the work was finished by noon. Cake. She baked a delicious chocolate cake for the party. Coin. He found a rare coin while walking on the beach. Crew. The film crew set up their equipment for the next scene. Crop. The farmer's crop of wheat was ready for harvest. Club. She joined a book club to discuss her favorite novels. Chat. We had a long chat over coffee about our travel plans. Code. The software developer wrote new code for the application. Cost. The cost of living in the city has increased significantly. Card. She received a birthday card from her best friend. Cast. The doctor put a cast on his broken arm. Claw. The cat extended its claw to grab the toy. Cook. He loves to cook Italian dishes for his family. Calm. She took a deep breath to stay calm before her presentation. Call. I need to call my sister to check on her. Cave. The explorers found an ancient cave with beautiful rock formations. Clip. She used a clip to hold her hair back while she worked. Chip. He accidentally chipped his tooth on a hard candy. Curb. They painted the curb yellow to indicate a no parking zone. Coat. She wore a warm coat on the cold winter day. Corn. The corn in the fields was tall and ready for picking. Clap. The audience began to clap after the amazing performance. Chin. He rested his chin on his hand, deep in thought. Coil. The snake coiled itself around the branch. Clan. The whole clan gathered for the annual family reunion. Cold. It was so cold outside that the pond had frozen over. Case. The detective opened a new case involving a missing person. Curl. She likes to curl her hair before a special event. Core. The core of the apple was too tough to eat. Clip. He used a paper clip to hold the documents together. Cash. She paid for her groceries with cash. Cuff. The tailor adjusted the cuff of his new trousers. Cub. The lion cub played with its siblings in the grass. Chin. He scratched his chin thoughtfully. Cute. The puppy was so cute that everyone wanted to pet it. Comb. She used a comb to straighten her hair in the morning. Cell. He spent years in a small prison cell. Crew. The cabin crew prepared the plane for takeoff. Cove. They found a secluded cove perfect for a picnic. Clam. We dug up clams on the beach to cook for dinner. Coal. The old train ran on coal instead of modern fuel. Crap. He said it was all a bunch of crap and refused to listen. Chap. The old chap smiled warmly as we passed by. Clog. Her dance routine featured a traditional clog dance. Clad. The knight was clad in shining armor. Cork. He pulled the cork from the wine bottle with a pop. Chef. The chef prepared a gourmet meal for the guests. Clot. A blood clot can be dangerous if not treated promptly. Crab. We watched the crab scuttle sideways along the shore. Chum. He decided to visit his old chum from college. Clue. The detective found a crucial clue at the crime scene. Dare. I dare you to try that new roller coaster. Door. She closed the door quietly so as not to wake anyone. Drum. He learned to play the drum when he was a teenager. Dine. They decided to dine at the new Italian restaurant downtown. Dive. She loves to dive into the ocean to explore the coral reefs. Dark. It was too dark to see anything in the cave without a flashlight. Dust. The old house was covered in a thick layer of dust. Drop. Be careful not to drop the vase, it's very fragile. Deck. They sat on the deck and watched the sunset over the ocean. Dawn. The birds began to sing at the first light of dawn. Dirt. The children were covered in dirt after playing outside. Draw. He likes to draw cartoons in his spare time. Doom. The ominous clouds signaled doom for the travelers. Duct. The air conditioning duct needs to be cleaned regularly. Deal. She made a great deal on her new car. Dull. The knife was too dull to cut through the tomato. Duke. The Duke hosted a grand ball at his estate. Dash. She made a dash for the bus before it left. Dial. He quickly dialed his friend's number. Debt. He worked hard to pay off his student debt. Dove. A white dove landed on the windowsill, cooing softly. Dime. She found a dime on the sidewalk and picked it up. Dock. The boat was moored at the dock for repairs. Dorm. They lived in the same dorm during their first year of college. Dung. The farmer used cow dung to fertilize his fields. Ding. There was a loud ding when the elevator arrived. Dine. He prefers to dine out rather than cook at home. Drop. The water drop clung to the leaf before falling. Deny. She could not deny the truth any longer. Dare. They did not dare to speak out against the authority. Dual. The car has dual airbags for safety. Duck. A duck waddled across the path, quacking softly. Dill. She added fresh dill to the salad for extra flavor. Deck. They decorated the deck with lights for the party. Daze. He walked in a daze after hearing the shocking news. Drag. He had to drag the heavy suitcase up the stairs. Dart. She threw the dart at the bull's-eye with great accuracy. Darn. She had to darn her socks because they had a hole. Deed. The lawyer handed over the deed to the property. Dose. The doctor recommended a higher dose of medication. Demo. The company gave a demo of their new product. Dusk. They walked along the beach at dusk, enjoying the view. Diet. She decided to go on a diet to improve her health. Dump. He decided to dump his old furniture and buy new pieces. Dish. Her favorite dish is spaghetti with marinara sauce. Doll. She kept her childhood doll on the shelf as a memory. Dude. The surfer dude was chill and laid back. Deck. The cards were shuffled, and a fresh deck was placed on the table. Dime. It costs a dime to use the public phone. Dial. He turned the dial to adjust the volume. Earn. She hopes to earn a promotion by working hard. Echo. The echo of her laughter filled the empty hall. Even. The table needs to be on an even surface to be stable. Else. Is there anything else you need before I leave? Ease. The medication helped ease her pain. Edge. He stood at the edge of the cliff and looked down. Exit. The exit is clearly marked in case of an emergency. Earn. He tried to earn enough money for a new bicycle. Edit. She had to edit her essay before submitting it. Epic. The movie was an epic tale of adventure and heroism. Each student was given a book to read over the summer. Envy. He couldn't help but feel envy when he saw his friend's new car. Evil. The villain's evil plan was finally revealed. Emit. The lamp emits a soft, warm glow. Expo. The Science Expo featured many innovative projects. Easy. The instructions were easy to follow. Elef. They took the Elef to the top floor of the skyscraper. Ever. Have you ever been to Paris? Emit. The factory began to emit smoke from its chimneys. Eyes. She has bright green eyes that shine in the sunlight. East. The sun rises in the east every morning. Ergo. He was the team leader, ergo, he made the final decisions. Echo. The sound of the drum created an echo in the canyon. Earn. She worked hard to earn respect in her community. Eros. The statue of Eros was in the center of the park. Ebb. The ebb and flow of the tides fascinated her. Epic. He told an epic story that captivated everyone. Ease. They made the transition with ease. Euro. She exchanged her dollars for euros before the trip. Edit. He needed to edit the video for his YouTube channel. Elms. The old elms lined the driveway to the house. Ergo. The test was difficult, ergo, many students failed. Eve. The eave of the house was decorated with icicles in winter. Evil. Some people believe that evil is a matter of perspective. Exit. They made their exit through the back door. Eyes. He closed his eyes and dreamed of the future. Elef. The Elef was out of order, so they took the stairs. Else. He wondered what else he could do to help. Ends. The road ends at the base of the mountain. Edge. She carefully painted the edge of the frame. Eggs. He likes his eggs scrambled with cheese. Elks. A herd of elks wandered through the forest. Even. She tried to make the edges of the pie crust even. Eyes. His eyes sparkled with excitement. Edge. She sharpened the knife to a keen edge. Ever. She wondered if he would ever return. Exit. The fire alarm went off, and everyone headed for the exit. Emit. The lantern began to emit a faint light. Echo. The cave amplified the sound, creating a haunting echo. Earn. He hoped to earn enough to buy a new guitar. Face. He couldn't face his fears any longer and decided to confront them. Fist. She clenched her fist in determination. Fair. The judge was fair in her decision. Fold. She likes to fold origami cranes in her spare time. Fact. It's a fact that exercise improves mental health. Farm. They live on a small farm in the countryside. Fort. The children built a fort out of blankets and pillows. Fish. He caught a big fish during his fishing trip. Fuel. The car ran out of fuel on the highway. Fork. She used a fork to eat her salad. Flee. They had to flee the city because of the storm. Fine. He was fined for parking in a no parking zone. Fast. The car was going too fast around the curve. Fire. The campfire kept them warm through the night. Flow. The river's flow was gentle and steady. Flip. He decided to flip the pancake in the pan. Foul. The foul odor came from the spoiled food. Font. She changed the font of her document to make it easier to read. Felt. He felt a strong sense of accomplishment. Fume. She began to fume when she realized she had been tricked. Fang. The snake's fang glistened in the sunlight. Fall. The leaves began to fall as autumn arrived. Fawn. The fawn was barely visible in the tall grass. Folk. The folk dance was a highlight of the festival. Flux. The market is in a state of flux due to economic changes. File. She kept all her important documents in a file cabinet. Fool. He didn't want to be made a fool of in front of his friends. Fade. The colors of the painting began to fade over time. Flap. The bird's wings made a soft flap as it took off. Find. She was surprised to find a letter from an old friend. Full. The room was full of people waiting for the announcement. Fret. Don't fret, everything will work out in the end. Ford. They decided to ford the river at its shallowest point. Fuse. The fuse blew out and left them in the dark. Flit. A butterfly flit from flower to flower. Fame. She never sought fame, but it found her anyway. Fro. He walked to and fro in the waiting room, anxious for news. Fort. The soldiers defended the fort bravely against the invaders. Fend. She had to fend for herself after moving to a new city. Fist. He raised his fist in a show of solidarity. Fled. They fled the scene before the police arrived. Flag. The flag waved proudly in the breeze. Fled. The deer fled into the woods at the sound of the hunter's footsteps. Fret. She would often fret about things beyond her control. Funk. He was in a funk for days after losing his job. Flop. The play was a flop, with half the audience leaving early. Flew. The bird flew high above the trees. Flea. Their dog caught a flea at the park. Firm. The mattress was too firm for her liking. Flog. The sailor was ordered to flog the deck as a punishment. Gain. She worked hard to gain the trust of her new team. Gold. The treasure chest was filled with gold coins and jewels. Grip. He had a firm grip on the steering wheel during the storm. Give. She decided to give her old clothes to charity. Game. They played a fun game of chess on a rainy afternoon. Golf. He enjoys playing golf every weekend with his friends. Grow. The children love to watch their garden grow. Gift. She received a beautiful necklace as a gift for her birthday. Glow. The glow of the sunset was mesmerizing. Gate. The iron gate creaked open slowly. Glad. She was glad to see her friend after so many years. Grim. The news of the disaster painted a grim picture. Gaze. He couldn't help but gaze at the stars in the night sky. Gala. They attended a gala to raise funds for the hospital. Gust. A strong gust of wind blew her hat off. Gory. The horror movie was filled with gory scenes. Goof. He made a goof during the presentation but quickly recovered. Gull. A gull swooped down to snatch a piece of bread from the beach. Gear. She packed all her hiking gear for the weekend trip. Gist. The gist of his speech was about community and togetherness. Gang. The gang of friends decided to go on a road trip together. Grip. She tightened her grip on the rope as she climbed. Gape. They couldn't help but gape at the breathtaking view. Good. It's always good to see old friends. Gaze. The couple sat on the bench, sharing a quiet gaze. Grin. He had a wide grin on his face after winning the race. Glut. There was a glut of apples this season, lowering prices. Goad. He tried to goad his friend into taking a risk. Grub. They found some grub under the log to use as bait for fishing. Grip. The climber's grip was strong and secure. Glee. She danced with glee when she heard the good news. Gasp. She let out a gasp when she saw the surprise party. Germ. He always washes his hands to avoid spreading germs. Glow. The fireflies began to glow as the night grew darker. Gown. She wore a beautiful gown to the formal dinner. Grew. The plant grew quickly in the rich soil. Grit. He showed grit and determination throughout the challenge. Gait. His gait was confident as he walked up to accept the award. Glee. The child squealed with glee as he opened his presents. Gash. He had a deep gash on his arm after the accident. Golf. She took up golf as a relaxing hobby. Glim. He caught a glim of the setting sun between the mountains. Gape. The tourists could only gape at the grand architecture. Gulp. He took a big gulp of water after the long run. Grim. Her face turned grim upon hearing the bad news. Gust. Another gust of wind slammed the door shut. Give. It's always better to give than to receive. Gone. By the time he arrived, the bus was already gone. Goad. She tried to goad him into a response, but he stayed calm. Gull. The gulls circled overhead, waiting for scraps. Hard. The test was hard, but he studied well and passed. Hope. She held on to hope despite the challenging circumstances. Heat. The heat from the stove warmed the entire kitchen. Hair. Her hair was long and shiny, flowing in the wind. Halt. The train came to a sudden halt at the station. Heal. Time can heal many emotional wounds. Hang. They decided to hang the painting above the fireplace. Hand. She offered her hand to help him up. Hire. The company decided to hire new staff for the summer season. Hawk. A hawk soared high above the valley, searching for prey. Hail. The weather suddenly turned, and hail started to fall. Hate. He expressed his hate for injustice passionately. Herb. She added fresh herb to the soup for extra flavor. Help. They asked for help when the car broke down. Holy. The church is considered a holy place by many. Hurt. She didn't mean to hurt his feelings with her comment. Hone. He continued to hone his skills in painting. Heel. Her heel got caught in the crack of the sidewalk. Halt. The soldier ordered the group to halt immediately. High. The kite flew high in the clear blue sky. Here. I'll be here waiting for you when you return. Hoop. The kids were playing basketball, trying to shoot through the hoop. Horn. He honked the car horn to alert the other driver. Hill. They climbed the steep hill to get a better view of the city. Host. She was an excellent host, making everyone feel welcome. Huge. The mansion was huge, with over 20 rooms. Hunt. The lion went on a hunt in the savannah. Hint. He dropped a hint about what he wanted for his birthday. Hole. He accidentally stepped into a hole in the ground. Hawk. The hawk perched on a branch, surveying its surroundings. Heat. They could feel the heat of the sun on their backs. Hood. He pulled his hood up to protect himself from the rain. Hike. They planned to hike the mountain trail over the weekend. Hide. The children decided to hide behind the bushes during the game. Hope. They never lost hope, even in the darkest times. Head. He turned his head to see who was calling his name. Hero. The firefighter was hailed as a hero for saving the child. Half. She ate only half of her sandwich before saving the rest. Hush. A hush fell over the room as the speaker began. Hoop. She bought a hula hoop for her daughter to play with. Heal. The doctor assured her that the wound would heal soon. Hair. She decided to cut her hair short for a new look. Hide. He tried to hide his disappointment when he heard the news. Hurl. He watched the storm hurl debris across the yard. Hunt. The group set out to hunt for rare mushrooms in the forest. Host. The TV show host was known for his witty remarks. Hump. The camel's hump stores fat, which it can use for energy. Hack. He tried to hack into the system but was caught by security. Hang. The clothes were left to hang dry in the fresh air. Heed. He didn't heed the warnings and continued on his way. Icon. The artist became an icon of modern culture. Idea. She had an innovative idea for the new marketing campaign. Idol. The singer was her idol, and she had posters all over her room. Inch. He moved an inch closer to hear what was being said. Into. She walked into the room and immediately felt at home. Iron. The shirt was wrinkled and needed to be pressed with an iron. Idle. The machine remained idle while waiting for the next task. Isle. They planned a vacation on a remote isle in the Caribbean. Item. She found the missing item under the couch. Iris. The iris in her garden bloomed beautifully in the spring. Iota. There wasn't an iota of doubt in her mind about the decision. Icon. The Eiffel Tower is an icon of Paris. Idol. She treated her older brother like an idol. Inch. He carefully measured each inch of the fabric. Iron. She likes to iron her clothes for a crisp, clean look. Itch. He had an itch on his arm that he couldn't reach. Isle. The boat sailed around the small isle, exploring every cove. Into. He stared into her eyes with deep admiration. Item. Each item in the store was handmade by local artisans. Idea. It's a good idea to check the weather before leaving. Icon. The save icon is shaped like an old floppy disk. Idle. After finishing the work, the workers stood idle, waiting for the next task. Iris. The iris is one of the many flowers in her botanical collection. Inch. The snail moved at a slow inch every minute. Iota. He didn't have an iota of patience left by the end of the meeting. Iron. The gate was made of heavy iron and was difficult to open. Isle. They discovered a hidden isle off the coast. Idea. His idea for the project won first prize. Icon. The celebrity is an icon in the fashion industry. Idle. The car remained idle for several minutes before it started moving. Iris. She painted a beautiful iris in her art class. Inch. He measured each inch carefully with a ruler. Into. They walked into the woods, hoping to spot some wildlife. Iron. He bought a new iron to replace the old, rusty one. Iota. She didn't believe an iota of his excuse. Isle. They sailed to the small isle for a day trip. Item. The rare item was displayed in a glass case. Icon. The pop star became an icon of her generation. Idea. It was a brilliant idea to have the event outdoors. Idle. The machine was left idle while the repairs were being made. Iris. The iris in the painting was incredibly detailed. Inch. He inched forward cautiously. Iron. The blacksmith worked the iron into shape. Isle. They vacationed on a tranquil isle in the Mediterranean. Icon. She is considered an icon of feminist literature. Idol. The idol was carved from a single piece of stone. Item. The last item on the agenda was the most important. Idea. He suggested an idea that changed the course of the discussion. Idle. Her mind was not idle, she was always thinking of new projects. Iris. The iris is known for its vibrant colors and intricate patterns. Jump. She loves to jump on the trampoline with her friends. Join. They decided to join the club to make new friends. Joke. He always knew how to tell a good joke. Jack. He used a jack to lift the car and change the tire. Jail. The thief was sent to jail for his crimes. Jerk. She felt the car jerk forward suddenly. Jazz. The jazz band played at the local bar every Friday night. Just. He just finished his homework before dinner. Junk. The garage was full of old junk that needed to be sorted. Jury. The jury took hours to reach a verdict. Join. She asked him to join her for lunch. Jade. The necklace was made of beautiful green jade. Jolt. He felt a jolt when the bus hit a bump in the road. Jeep. They rented a Jeep for their off-road adventure. Jest. His comment was made in jest, not to be taken seriously. Jive. They danced to the lively jive music at the party. Jaws. The shark's jaw snapped shut with a loud crunch. Jabs. He threw a few quick jabs during the boxing match. Jobs. She took on multiple jobs to pay for her studies. Jots. He jots down his thoughts in a small notebook. Jazz. She listened to jazz music while cooking dinner. Joke. He made a joke that had everyone laughing. Join. Would you like to join us for the meeting tomorrow? Jump. The athlete made a record-breaking jump at the competition. Just. It's just around the corner from here. Junk. They decided to clear out the junk from the attic. Jury. The jury listened carefully to all the evidence presented. Jinx. He believed the old mirror would jinx him if it broke. Java. He prefers to code in Java for its versatility. Join. The two rivers join at the delta. Jade. She wore a jade bracelet that matched her earrings. Jolt. The news of his promotion gave him a pleasant jolt. Joke. She loved to joke with her colleagues at work. Jack. They had to use a jack to lift the heavy crate. Jail. The criminal was put in jail for a long sentence. Jive. He was known for his smooth moves on the jive dance floor. Jazz. The jazz festival attracted musicians from all over the world. Jump. The frog made a big jump across the pond. Junk. She decided it was time to get rid of the old junk in her room. Jury. The jury was tasked with making a fair decision. Jade. Her earrings were made of jade, which matched her dress. Jolt. The sudden stop gave everyone a jolt. Joke. He loved to tell a joke that would make everyone laugh. Jail. The escaped convict was caught and sent back to jail. Jazz. They danced to jazz all night at the party. Join. She decided to join the art class to learn painting. Jump. He tried to jump over the fence but got stuck. Just. She had just finished her homework when the doorbell rang. Junk. He collected junk to repurpose into artwork. Jury. The jury was still deliberating on the final verdict. Keep. She decided to keep the old letters in a box under her bed. Knot. He tied a strong knot to secure the boat to the dock. No. I know the answer to your question. Keen. He has a keen sense of observation, noticing even the smallest details. Kick. She gave the ball a powerful kick, sending it flying across the field. King. The king ruled his kingdom with wisdom and fairness. Knit. She loves to knit sweaters for her grandchildren during the winter. Kite. The children flew their kite in the park on a windy day. Knee. He hurt his knee while playing soccer. Knob. She turned the knob to open the door slowly. Keel. The ship's keel was strong enough to withstand the rough seas. Kelp. The diver swam through a forest of kelp in the ocean. Kick. He couldn't resist giving the soccer ball another kick. Kind. She is always kind to everyone she meets. Knit. He watched his grandmother knit a colorful scarf. Keep. It's important to keep your promises. Keen. She was keen to start her new job. Knot. The sailor taught him how to tie a proper knot. No. I know it will be a great adventure. Kiwi. She added fresh kiwi slices to her salad. Knew. He knew the way to the hidden beach. Kick. The horse gave a sudden kick and startled everyone. King. The king wore a crown made of gold and jewels. Kilt. He wore a traditional Scottish kilt for the celebration. Keen. She is keen on learning new languages. Keep. We must keep the environment clean. Knot. The ribbon was tied in a beautiful knot. No. Do you know where the nearest coffee shop is? Kick. The kids practiced their kick in martial arts class. King. The king addressed his subjects from the balcony. Knit. She knit a pair of socks to keep her feet warm in winter. Keen. He has a keen interest in ancient history. Keep. They keep a garden full of vegetables and flowers. Kick. She tried to kick the habit of drinking too much coffee. Knot. The rope had a tight knot that was hard to undo. No. It's good to know how to swim. Kick. The sudden kick from the horse caught him by surprise. King. The king declared a day of celebration throughout the land. Keep. Always keep your friends close. Knit. She decided to knit a blanket for the new baby. Knot. He fumbled with the knot in his tie before the interview. No. She didn't know that today was a holiday. Kick. He tried to kick the ball, but missed. King. The king's portrait hung in the grand hall. Kite. The kite soared high above the beach. Knee. She bent her knee to tie her shoelace. Knob. He twisted the knob, but the door wouldn't open. Keep. Please keep quiet while others are studying. Keen. The detective had a keen eye for detail. Knot. She worked diligently to untangle the knot in her necklace. Lake. They spent the weekend camping by the lake. Last. This is the last chance to get tickets for the concert. Lion. The lion roared loudly in the middle of the savannah. Lamp. She turned on the lamp to read her book. Left. She left her keys on the kitchen counter. Leap. The frog took a big leap into the pond. Lean. He decided to lean against the wall while waiting. Luck. They wished her luck before the big game. Lace. She carefully tied the lace on her new sneakers. Line. The line for the roller coaster was very long. Lend. Could you lend me a pencil for the exam? Lamb. They saw a little lamb playing in the field. List. He made a list of all the things he needed to buy. Loud. The music was so loud that it could be heard from blocks away. Like. I really like the new restaurant downtown. Lose. She didn't want to lose her favorite book. Lush. The garden was filled with lush, green plants. Link. The chain had a broken link that needed repair. Lure. The fisherman used a special lure to catch fish. Look. She gave him a stern look after his mistake. Lobe. The earring dangled from her earlobe. Load. They managed to load all their luggage into the car. Love. She said she was in love with the new movie. Lump. There was a lump in the batter that needed to be stirred out. Lens. He cleaned his camera lens before taking the picture. Loop. She tied the rope into a loop for the climbing activity. Lair. The dragon's lair was hidden deep in the mountains. Lava. The molten lava flowed slowly from the volcano. Leak. There was a leak in the roof after the heavy rain. Lips. She applied a bright red lipstick to her lips. Lash. The horse's tail gave a quick lash to swat away flies. Late. He was late for the meeting because of traffic. Life. She wanted to live a life full of adventure. Luck. With a bit of luck, they found the lost dog. Lush. The tropical island was covered in lush vegetation. Lend. She was happy to lend him her favorite book. Lack. There was a lack of evidence in the case. Lime. She squeezed a lime over the tacos for extra flavor. Lord. The lord of the manor was known for his generosity. Loft. The artist lived in a spacious loft with large windows. Lick. The dog gave her face a quick lick. Lump. He felt a lump in his throat during the emotional speech. Lace. She wore a dress with intricate lace details. Lush. The rainforest is home to a variety of lush plants. Left. They left early to avoid the traffic. Line. The artist drew a straight line with a ruler. Link. She clicked on the link to read more about the event. Like. I like to read books in my spare time. Lube. The road formed a loop around the lake. Lens. He used a magnifying lens to study the tiny insects. Make. She wants to make a cake for her friend's birthday. Moon. The full moon shone brightly in the night sky. Mist. A light mist covered the field in the early morning. Mean. He didn't mean to hurt her feelings. Moth. A moth fluttered around the porch light. Mask. She wore a mask to the costume party. Melt. The ice began to melt as the sun came out. Mile. They ran a mile every morning for exercise. Mock. He tried to mock his friend, but it only made them laugh. Mark. He left a mark on the wall with his muddy shoes. Mesh. The windows were covered with a fine mesh to keep insects out. Mine. The gold mine was abandoned many years ago. Muse. The artist found his muse in the bustling city streets. Meat. They grilled some meat for the barbecue. Mice. The mice scurried away when they saw the cat. Maze. The children enjoyed navigating the corn maze. Move. He decided it was time to move to a new city. Much. She didn't have much time to prepare for the test. Mint. She put a fresh mint leaf in her tea. Milk. He poured milk into his cereal. Many. There are many reasons to visit that museum. Most. He spent most of his day working on the project. Mail. She checked the mail every afternoon. Melt. The chocolate began to melt in the hot sun. Mess. His room was a mess after the party. Monk. The monk lived a simple life in the monastery. Mole. She saw a mole burrow under the ground. Moat. The castle was surrounded by a deep moat. Mind. She had a brilliant mind, always full of ideas. Mini. She bought a mini version of the classic board game. Mast. The ship's mast broke during the storm. Mash. He decided to mash the potatoes for dinner. Melt. The snow began to melt as spring approached. Mall. They went to the mall to do some shopping. Mere. It was a mere suggestion, not a demand. Must. You must finish your homework before playing outside. Melt. The candle wax started to melt from the heat. Maid. The maid cleaned the room thoroughly. Mean. Don't be mean to your little brother. Moot. The point is moot since we already made a decision. Mesh. The dress was made of a delicate mesh fabric. Mime. The mime performed silently in the park. Mint. He loves mint chocolate chip ice cream. Mist. A soft mist settled over the valley. Mood. The music set a romantic mood for the evening. Maze. The maze was challenging but fun to solve. Melt. The sun will melt the snow in a few hours. Main. The main character of the story was very brave. Moon. They sat on the hill and watched the moon rise. Mist. The mist made the morning feel cool and fresh. Name. What is your favorite name? Noon. They planned to meet at the cafe around noon. Near. The school is near my house. Note. He left a note on her desk as a reminder. Neck. She wore a necklace around her neck. Nose. His nose turned red from the cold. Neat. She kept her desk very neat and organized. Nest. The bird built a nest in the tree outside my window. Nice. It was nice of him to help with the groceries. News. The news was on when she walked into the room. Nail. She painted each nail a different color. Norm. It's become the norm to work from home these days. Nuts. He loves to eat nuts as a snack. Neat. He always keeps his handwriting neat. Node. The internet connection went down because of a faulty node. Next. She wondered who would be next to present their project. Need. They need to buy more milk for the recipe. Noon. We'll take a break at noon for lunch. None. None of the answers seemed correct. Navy. He joined the Navy after finishing college. Numb. His fingers felt numb from the cold. Near. We live near a beautiful park. Name. She wanted to name the baby after her grandmother. Note. She wrote a thank you note to her teacher. Nice. It's always nice to receive a compliment. Noon. The sun is at its highest point at noon. Neck. He wore a scarf around his neck to stay warm. Neat. Her handwriting is very neat and legible. Node. The network has multiple nodes for better connectivity. Near. We sat near the window to get some fresh air. Name. They wanted to name the puppy Max. None. None of the options seemed appealing. News. The news report covered the entire event. Neck. He got a sunburn on his neck after a day at the beach. Nest. The robin's nest had 3 tiny eggs inside. Note. She played a wrong note on the piano. Navy. The Navy ship sailed into the harbor. Numb. After sitting in the cold for so long, his feet were numb. Next. She was excited to see what would happen next. Near. They live near the coast and love going to the beach. None. He tried all the keys, but none of them worked. News. The news spread quickly through the small town. Neat. She folded the clothes in a neat pile. Node. The device was connected to the central node of the network. Near. The restaurant is near the cinema. Name. They called her name 3 times before she answered. Next. The next stop is the museum. Neat. His room was surprisingly neat for a teenager. Near. The grocery store is near the train station. None. None of the students knew the answer to the question. Once. Once upon a time, there was a small village at the edge of the forest. Over. She jumped over the fence with ease. Oval. The painting had an elegant, oval frame. Open. He decided to open the window to let in some fresh air. Oven. She preheated the oven before baking the cookies. Omit. Please do not omit any details in your report. Only. It was the only time he ever lied to his parents. Otto. Otto was excited to visit his grandparents during the holidays. Onyx. She wore a necklace made of onyx beads. Oral. The students had to give an oral presentation in class. Oath. He took an oath to always tell the truth. Oxen. The farmers used oxen to plow their fields. Obey. The dog was trained to obey simple commands. Ogle. He couldn't help but ogle at the stunning display of fireworks. Oily. After working in the garage, his hands were oily. Odds. The odds of winning the lottery are extremely low. Oats. She prepared a bowl of oats for breakfast every morning. Owed. She finally paid back the money she owed her friend. Omen. Seeing a black cat is often considered a bad omen. Ores. The miners extracted precious ores from the mountains. Omit. He decided to omit the last chapter from his book. Ores. The geologist examined the different types of ores. Oats. Oats are a healthy source of fiber and nutrients. Onus. The onus was on her to prove her innocence. Open. The store will open at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Oval. The new stadium has an oval shape. Oops. Oops. I accidentally spilled my drink. Oxen. In the past, oxen were commonly used to pull heavy loads. Omit. It's important not to omit any key points from your speech. Ores. They discovered new ores in the abandoned mine. Owed. He owed a lot of money to the bank. Open. She decided to open a bakery in her hometown. Oats. The recipe called for 2 cups of oats. Otto. Otto enjoyed playing chess with his father. Oval. The table in the dining room was oval-shaped. Oven. Be careful when you take the cake out of the hot oven. Onus. The onus is on the student to complete their homework on time. Open. The gallery will open its doors to the public this weekend. Oxen. The oxen slowly pulled the cart up the hill. Otto. Otto decided to join the school's debate team. Oval. She drew an oval on the piece of paper. Omit. He chose to omit unnecessary details from his presentation. Oats. For a hearty breakfast, she added fresh berries to her oats. Open. The door swung open with a creak. Oval. The racetrack was oval, perfect for car races. Otto. Otto's friends surprised him with a birthday party. Oxen. The farmer took care of his oxen with great care. Omit. Be sure not to omit any important facts from your report. Open. He watched the flowers open in the early morning light. Oval. The classroom had an oval table for group discussions. Park. They decided to park their car near the entrance. Play. The children love to play outside after school. Pull. You need to pull the handle to open the door. Pack. She began to pack her bags for the weekend trip. Pink. The sky turned a beautiful shade of pink during sunset. Pond. The ducks swam gracefully across the pond. Push. He had to push the heavy cart up the hill. Plan. It's important to plan ahead for your future. Path. The narrow path led through the dense forest. Pump. The mechanic used a pump to inflate the tires. Pint. He ordered a pint of beer at the local pub. Pave. The city plans to pave the old road next week. Pier. They walked along the pier to watch the boats. Pool. The kids were excited to swim in the pool. Peel. She used a knife to peel the apple. Pale. His face turned pale when he heard the news. Palm. She placed a coin in the palm of his hand. Pile. There was a pile of books on her desk. Plus. He is smart, plus he has a great sense of humor. Pore. She studied every pore on her face in the mirror. Page. He turned the page to continue reading. Pace. He tried to maintain a steady pace during his run. Puff. The dragon released a puff of smoke from its nostrils. Plot. The plot of the movie was very interesting. Plug. He forgot to plug in his phone charger. Pose. The artist asked her to pose for the painting. Pain. She felt a sharp pain in her leg. Pair. He bought a new pair of shoes for the event. Past. The past few years have been challenging for everyone. Pass. She hoped to pass all her exams this semester. Pill. He took a pill to relieve his headache. Pick. She had to pick the right dress for the occasion. Peak. They reached the peak of the mountain by noon. Pike. The fisherman caught a large pike in the lake. Poof. The magician made the rabbit disappear with a poof. Pelt. The hunter carefully skinned the animal's pelt. Prop. The stage crew set up the prop for the next scene. Push. You have to push the door to open it. Peer. She had to peer through the fog to see ahead. Poem. He wrote a beautiful poem for her. Pint. She drank a pint of water after her workout. Peck. The bird gave a quick peck at the worm. Pull. He had to pull the rope with all his strength. Plug. Make sure to plug the cable into the correct port. Pray. They decided to pray for peace and prosperity. Ping. She heard the ping of her phone notifying a new message. Pure. The water from the spring was crystal clear and pure. Park. The park was filled with families enjoying the sunshine. Puff. He took a puff of his cigarette and sighed deeply. Punt. The player made a perfect punt to gain more yards. Quit. He decided to quit his job and travel the world. Quiz. The teacher prepared a challenging quiz for her students. Quad. The students gathered in the quad to relax between classes. Quib. He always had a clever quip ready in any conversation. Quid. She lent him 5 quid to buy lunch. Queer. The village had a quaint, quirky charm to it. Key. The farmer guided the key back to the barn. Quay. The boat docked at the quay to unload its cargo. Quat. The old poem mentioned a mysterious quat as a character. K. The painter worked in the K of his studio. Quat. The healer added quat leaves to the mixture. Quit. He decided to quit smoking after many years. Quiz. The history quiz was harder than expected. Quad. They took a break on the quad during lunch. Quib. She couldn't help but laugh at his witty quip. Quid. He found a 10 quid note on the sidewalk. Quit. He urged his friend not to quit so easily. Quay. The fisherman stood on the quay, waiting for his boat. Quiz. There will be a pop quiz in tomorrow's class. Quib. His quip about the situation lightened the mood. Quit. She had to quit the game due to an injury. Quad. They gathered on the quad for the annual picnic. Quit. It's hard to quit a habit once it's formed. Quiz. The quiz had questions on every topic they studied. Quib. His quip was met with laughter from the audience. Quid. A quid is a slang term for a pound in the UK. Quad. The athlete trained hard on the quad for the upcoming meet. Quit. She tried to quit caffeine for a month. Quiz. He studied all night for the math quiz. Quib. His quip made everyone in the room smile. Quad. They set up tents on the quad for the festival. Quit. It's time to quit procrastinating and get to work. Quiz. The pop quiz caught all the students by surprise. Quib. His quick quip about the weather made her laugh. Quad. The university's quad was surrounded by tall buildings. Quit. He decided to quit after the last meeting. Quiz. The quiz had questions on literature and history. Quid. She needed to borrow a quid to complete her purchase. Quib. His sharp quip left everyone in awe. Quad. The quad was bustling with students between classes. Quit. She found it hard to quit her addiction. Quay. The cargo was unloaded at the quay in the early morning. Quiz. He felt nervous before the big quiz. Quit. She wanted to quit the team but decided to stay. Quib. His quip about the situation lightened the mood. Quad. The college's quad is known for its beautiful gardens. Quit. He thought about quitting but pushed through. Quay. The sailors docked at the quay after a long journey. Quiz. The final quiz of the semester was comprehensive. Quit. It's hard to quit when you're so close to the finish line. Rain. The rain poured heavily all night, soaking the ground. Rock. She skipped a rock across the lake. Room. He decorated his room with posters of his favorite bands. Rose. The rose garden was in full bloom. Roll. He watched the dice roll across the table. Rest. After a long day at work, she needed to rest. Roof. The roof of the house was damaged in the storm. Rear. He checked the rear view mirror while driving. Ring. She wore a beautiful diamond ring on her finger. Root. The tree's root system was extensive. Rail. The train moved swiftly along the rail. Rate. The interest rate on his loan was very high. Rise. The sun began to rise over the mountains. Race. He trained for months to compete in the race. Robe. The climber tied the rope securely before ascending. Ripe. The apples on the tree were ripe and ready to be picked. Road. They drove down a long, winding road. Rave. The band received rave reviews for their performance. Risk. He decided to take the risk and start his own business. Rust. The old bicycle was covered in rust. Real. She couldn't believe the news was real. Rant. He went on a rant about the bad service at the restaurant. Rude. It's rude to interrupt someone when they are speaking. Read. She loves to read mystery novels in her free time. Rich. The chocolate cake was rich and decadent. Rare. It is rare to find such a perfectly preserved fossil. Rack. He placed the dishes on the drying rack. Ripe. The peaches were ripe and juicy. Rule. It's important to follow the rule of the game. Rant. He had a long rant about the traffic. Rock. She climbed the tall rock with ease. Ride. They decided to ride their bikes to the park. Rate. The teacher asked the students to rate their experience. Rent. He was looking for a place to rent in the city. Rise. The bread will rise as it bakes in the oven. Rung. She climbed the ladder, rung by rung. Rook. The rook is a powerful piece in chess. Rush. They had to rush to catch the last bus. Rove. He loved to rove through the countryside. Reel. He began to reel in the fishing line. Room. The room was filled with laughter and music. Ramp. The skateboarder performed tricks on the ramp. Roof. The cat climbed up to the roof of the shed. Roll. He learned how to roll a kayak back upright. Robe. The children played jump rope at recess. Root. They dug around the root to plant a new tree. Rain. The rain finally stopped after several hours. Ring. The phone began to ring loudly in the quiet room. Road. The road was blocked due to an accident. Risk. She took a risk by investing in the startup. Save. He worked hard to save enough money for his vacation. Seal. The seal at the zoo balanced a ball on its nose. Ship. The ship sailed across the ocean to a distant land. Sand. The children built a castle in the sand. Stop. The bus driver told everyone to stop talking. Spot. She found a great spot to watch the sunset. Side. He stood by her side throughout the whole ordeal. Sake. For the sake of clarity, please explain that again. Safe. The hikers made it to the cabin and were safe from the storm. Snow. The snow fell softly, covering the ground in a white blanket. Sink. She watched the sun sink below the horizon. Seat. He found a seat near the window. Slip. Be careful not to slip on the wet floor. Snap. The branch gave a loud snap under his weight. Soft. The blanket was warm and soft. Soil. The gardener tilled the soil before planting the seeds. Song. The song played softly in the background. Soup. She made a hot bowl of soup for dinner. Sell. He decided to sell his old car. Stay. They decided to stay at the hotel for another night. Same. They wore the same outfit by coincidence. Step. She took a step back to admire her work. Sort. They had to sort the books by genre. Seed. She planted a seed in the garden. Send. He will send the letter tomorrow. Sack. The sack of potatoes was heavy. Slow. The turtle moved at a slow pace. Star. The star shone brightly in the night sky. Sing. She loves to sing in the shower. Slim. He chose a slim notebook that fit in his pocket. Slam. She heard the door slam shut behind her. Show. The show will start in 5 minutes. Size. The size of the box was perfect for the gift. Shop. They went to the shop to buy groceries. Self. He made a self-portrait for his art class. Spin. The dancer could spin gracefully on one foot. Swan. The swan glided gracefully across the lake. Suit. He wore a suit to the interview. Seek. She decided to seek advice from a professional. Shot. He took a great shot with his camera. Sour. The lemon was too sour for her taste. Skin. She applied lotion to her dry skin. Shut. He decided to shut the door to keep the noise out. Sole. The sole of her shoe was worn out. Spin. The top continued to spin for several minutes. Sore. Her muscles were sore after the workout. Solo. He performed a solo at the concert. Such. Such a beautiful painting deserves to be displayed. Surf. They decided to surf at the beach this weekend. Stem. The stem of the plant was strong and healthy. Tree. The old oak tree in the backyard provided plenty of shade during the summer. Task. Completing this task before the deadline is essential. Turn. Take a left turn at the next intersection. Take. Please take one of the brochures before you leave. Trip. We planned a trip to the mountains next weekend. Tilt. The picture frame was slightly tilted on the wall. Tire. The car's tire was flat after driving over a sharp object. Tale. The grandmother told a fascinating tale about her youth. Tide. The tide was high, making it difficult to walk on the beach. Talk. We need to have a serious talk about your future plans. Team. Our team won the championship after a tough game. Tear. A tear rolled down her cheek as she read the letter. Trim. He decided to trim the hedges in the garden. Tame. It took years to tame the wild horse. Tent. We set up the tent near the lake for the night. Term. The term global warming is often discussed in environmental science. Text. She sent a quick text to confirm the appointment. Type. What type of music do you prefer? Tank. The fish swam peacefully in the large tank. Tail. The dog wagged its tail excitedly. Twin. The twin brothers were inseparable. Told. She told me the news over the phone. Tick. The clock made a steady tick as time passed. Tone. His tone of voice suggested he was upset. Tips. She gave me some useful tips for cooking. Time. Time flies when you're having fun. Tiny. The kitten was tiny, fitting in the palm of my hand. Test. The test was harder than expected. Tech. She works in the tech industry, developing new software. Toss. He decided to toss the old magazines in the recycling bin. Tend. She tends to the garden every morning. Tidy. The room was tidy after she finished cleaning. Trap. The mouse was caught in the trap we set. Turf. The football field's turf was well maintained. Tomb. The ancient tomb was discovered by archaeologists. Tour. We took a guided tour of the historic city. Tint. The car windows had a dark tint. Torn. His shirt was torn after climbing over the fence. Thaw. The ice began to thaw as the temperature rose. Tick. I could hear the tick of the clock from across the room. Tilt. He had to tilt the painting slightly to get it level. Thin. The ice on the lake was too thin to walk on. Twin. The twin stars were visible in the night sky. Toil. He had to toil in the fields from dawn until dusk. Task. The task was more challenging than I had anticipated. Tack. She used a tack to pin the poster to the wall. Thug. The thug was apprehended by the police after the robbery. Tank. The water tank needed to be refilled. Tug. She gave the baby a gentle tuck into bed. Tusk. The elephant's tusk was long and curved. Unit. The apartment unit is available for rent starting next month. Upon arriving at the station, she realized she had forgotten her ticket. Undo. He tried to undo the knot but it was too tight. User. The app requires the user to create an account before accessing features. Ugly. The house looked ugly with its peeling paint and broken windows. Urge. I felt an urge to call her and make sure she was okay. Uber. We decided to take an Uber to the party since it was too far to walk. Used. The used book was much cheaper than buying a new one. Urns. The decorative urns were placed on either side of the entrance. Urge. The teacher urged the students to study harder for the upcoming exam. Undo. She regretted her actions and wished she could undo them. Unit. Each unit in the building has its own private balcony. Upon. The success of the project depends upon everyone's cooperation. User. The software was designed with user experience in mind. Ugly. The argument between them turned ugly quickly. Urge. He couldn't resist the urge to eat the last cookie. Undo. Pressing Ctrl+Z will undo the last action. Upon. The decision was made upon careful consideration. Unit. The soldiers were part of a specialized unit. Undo. She managed to undo the damage with a sincere apology. Ugly. The truth can sometimes be ugly. User. The manual provides clear instructions for the user. Urge. I urge you to reconsider your decision. Undo. It was too late to undo the mistake. Upon reflection, she realized she had made the right choice. Ugly. The sculpture was considered ugly by many, but some found it interesting. Unit. This unit converts from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Undo. The carpenter carefully worked to undo the misaligned parts. Upon hearing the news, he rushed to the hospital. User. The software's interface is user-friendly. Ugly. The storm left an ugly scar on the landscape. Urge. She had a sudden urge to travel the world. Undo. The package was difficult to undo. Unit. The new unit was installed in the air conditioning system. Ugly. He made an ugly comment that offended everyone. Upon. The team agreed upon a strategy for the project. User. The user guide is available online. Urge. She urged her friend to follow her dreams. Undo. The knot was impossible to undo. Unit. The building's heating unit was malfunctioning. Ugly. The ugly truth came out during the trial. Upon closer inspection, the painting was a masterpiece. Urge. He couldn't ignore the urge to speak up. User. The user reported a bug in the software. Undo. She tried to undo the harm caused by her words. Vary. The prices of the products vary depending on the brand. View. The view from the mountain top was breathtaking. Vast. The desert stretched out in a vast expanse before them. Vote. She decided to vote in the upcoming election. Vain. His efforts to fix the car were in vain. Veil. She wore a veil over her face for the ceremony. Vent. The hot air was released through a vent in the ceiling. Veer. The car had to veer suddenly to avoid hitting the deer. Vibe. The cafe had a relaxed vibe that made it a popular hangout spot. Vine. The vine climbed up the side of the house, covering the windows. Void. The contract was declared void due to a technicality. Verb. In the sentence she runs fast, runs is a verb. Volt. The device required a 9-volt battery to operate. Vice. He used a vice to hold the piece of wood steady while he sawed it. Vial. The nurse filled a vial with the patient's blood for testing. Vile. The villain's vile actions shocked everyone in the room. Vice. Smoking is considered a vice by many. Veto. The president has the power to veto legislation. Vein. The doctor found the vein easily to draw blood. Vary. Her interests vary from painting to hiking. View. The view from the hotel room was stunning. Vent. The kitchen vent helped remove smoke and odors. Vice. The mechanic used a vice to secure the metal piece. Veil. The bride lifted her veil for the first kiss. Vote. Everyone should exercise their right to vote. Vial. The scientist carefully labeled each vial in the lab. Vice. He clamped the metal rod into the vice before welding it. Vary. The rules vary depending on the competition. View. We had a clear view of the stage from our seats. Vast. The ocean seemed vast and endless. Vial. She held the vial of perfume up to her nose and inhaled deeply. Vote. They cast their vote early to avoid long lines. Vibe. The music set the vibe for the entire evening. Vein. A blue vein was visible on the back of his hand. Vile. The food was vile and inedible. Vent. She needed to vent her frustrations after a long day. Veil. The fog acted as a veil, obscuring the landscape. Vote. The proposal passed by a narrow vote. Vine. The vine twisted around the fence post. Vary. Opinions on the topic vary greatly. Void. Staring into the void, he felt a sense of loneliness. Vain. She checked her reflection in the mirror, feeling vain. Vice. His gambling habit was a serious vice. Vice. The vice gripped the object tightly. Vast. The vastness of the universe is incomprehensible. Vote. The vote ended in a tie, requiring a recount. Wall. The wall in the living room was painted a bright shade of blue. Walk. We decided to walk through the park to enjoy the nice weather. West. The sun sets in the west every evening. Wind. The wind blew the leaves off the trees. Wave. She gave a quick wave to her friend across the street. Wild. The forest was full of wild animals. Wood. The table was made of solid oak wood. Wing. The bird spread its wings and took flight. Warm. The blanket kept me warm during the cold night. Where? The store had a large selection of kitchenware. Wake. She woke up early to watch the sunrise. Wise. The wise old man shared his knowledge with the younger generation. Worm. The worm wriggled through the soil in the garden. Wish. I wish I could go on vacation this summer. Work. She has a lot of work to do before the deadline. Wolf. The lone wolf howled at the moon. Weak. After the flu, he felt too weak to get out of bed. Wait. Please wait here while I get your order. Where? She likes to wear bright colors in the summer. Wipe. He used a cloth to wipe the dust off the shelves. Wire. The lamp was connected to the power source by a thin wire. Worn. His shoes were worn out after years of use. Warp. The heat caused the plastic to warp out of shape. Wide. The river was too wide to cross without a boat. Woke. I woke up feeling refreshed after a good night's sleep. Whip. He used a whip to train the horse. Wasp. A wasp buzzed around the picnic table, attracted by the food. Wage. The workers demanded a higher wage for their labor. Wilt. The flowers began to wilt in the heat without water. Wavy. Her hair was naturally wavy and looked beautiful. Watt. The light bulb uses 60 watts of power. Wrap. He decided to wrap the gift in colorful paper. Wash. She needs to wash the car this weekend. Wick. The candle's wick was too short to light properly. Wand. The magician waved his wand and performed a trick. Wavy. The ocean had wavy patterns as the wind blew across it. Wilt. Without proper care, the plant started to wilt. Wing. The butterfly's wing was delicate and colorful. Warn. She warned her friends about the slippery roads. Well. The old well in the village was still used for drinking water. Wild. The wild flowers grew freely in the meadow. Worn. His jacket looked worn and tattered after years of use. Work. He finished his work early and left the office. Wily. The wily fox outsmarted the hunters once again. Warm. The soup was warm and comforting on a chilly day. Waxy. The leaves had a waxy texture, making them water resistant. Weak. The old bridge looked weak and unsafe to cross. Wand. The wizard's wand glowed with magical power. Want. I want to travel to new places and explore the world. Wool. The sweater was made of soft wool, perfect for winter. X-ray. The doctor ordered an X-ray to check for any broken bones. Xeno. The concept of xenophobia refers to a fear of strangers or foreigners. Xylo. He played the melody on a xylophone during the concert. Xbox. We spent the afternoon playing games on the Xbox. Christmas. We decorated the tree for Christmas with lights and ornaments. Xian. The ancient city of Xian is known for its terracotta warriors. Seeing. The road sign warned of a pedestrian seeing ahead. XYST. The athletes trained in the XYST, a covered walkway in ancient Greek gymnasiums. Xanth. The color of the flower was a beautiful xanthic shade. Zane. Zane is a unique name, often found in fictional stories. XYLY. The XYLY group in organic chemistry involves a structure related to xylene. SPI. SPI modules are used in wireless communication for electronic projects. Xian. The Xian region is famous for its rich history and cultural significance. Coxo. She signed the letter with Coxo, meaning hugs and kisses. Shoes. Shoes was a brand known for its innovative technology solutions. X-ray. The X-ray revealed a small fracture in the bone. SPO. The archer was skilled in using an SPO, or crossbow, in battle. Coney. The Coney DJ mixer was known for its superior sound quality. Zend. The project reached its Zend after several months of hard work. Zeth. Zeth is a rare name, sometimes used in fantasy novels. Zine. Zine was a character in the novel who possessed mysterious powers. Zis. Zis is a fictional element used in a sci-fi story. Smut. The smut virus in the game was difficult to overcome. Zide. Zide was the brand name of an energy drink popular among athletes. Xoma. The Xoma Corporation was known for its biotech research. Zius. Zius was a distant planet in the science fiction series. Xero. The Xero software was ideal for small business accounting. Zeit. The Zeit platform allowed users to stream videos seamlessly. Szeth. Szeth was the name of a powerful mage in the fantasy RPG. Stex. The Stex fabric was known for its durability and water resistance. Xian. Xian University was renowned for its engineering programs. Zero. Zero gravity was simulated in the space station. SPAD. The SPAD controller was ergonomically designed for comfort. Xian. Xian was the leader of the rebel faction in the game. STL. STL technology was used in high-precision clocks. Stay. Stay is a blockchain-based stablecoin used for fast transactions. Zixi. Zixi is a social media platform popular in some countries. Stri. The Stri race was a triathlon held in extreme conditions. Zabi. Zabi was a talented football player known for his midfield prowess. Kona. Kona was a futuristic city depicted in the novel. Smut. The smut strain was highly contagious in the storyline. Zyro. Zyro drones were known for their high-definition camera capabilities. STL. The STL service guaranteed overnight delivery. Zius. The planet Zius had an unusual climate and diverse ecosystems. SPED. The SPED app helped adventurers plan their trips. Star. Star was a brand specializing in high-performance flashlights. SYN. SYN is a storage area network solution by Apple. Spio. Spio was a company at the forefront of biotech innovations. SOS. The SOS operating system was known for its security features. Yarn. She spent the afternoon knitting a scarf with blue yarn. Yawn. He let out a big yawn after staying up late last night. Year. This year, the company reached its highest profits ever. Yelp. The dog let out a yelp when it stepped on something sharp. Yoke. The oxen were harnessed to the cart with a wooden yoke. Yoga. She practices yoga every morning to stay flexible and calm. Yell. He had to yell to be heard over the loud music. Yank. She gave the door a yank, and it finally opened. Yeti. The hikers claimed to have seen a yeti in the snowy mountains. Yor. Tales of yore often speak of knights and dragons. Yoke. The farmers used a yoke to connect the oxen to the plow. Yor. Don't forget to bring your coat when you leave. Yawn. She stifled a yawn during the long meeting. Yolk. The yolk of the egg was bright yellow and rich in flavor. Yogi. The yogi taught them advanced meditation techniques. Yelp. The puppy let out a yelp when it was scared. Yurt. They stayed in a cozy yurt while camping in the mountains. Yawn. His constant yawning made the lecture even more boring. York. The city of York is famous for its historic architecture. Yaps. The small dog yaps whenever someone walks by the house. Yank. With a yank, he pulled the rope free. Yarn. The storyteller spun a yarn that captivated the audience. Yawn. She tried to hide her yawn during the movie. Year. This is the year she plans to graduate from college. Yelp. The website Yelp is useful for finding restaurant reviews. Yule. The Yule log burned brightly in the fireplace. Yule. During Yule, they celebrated with a festive feast. Yank. He gave the door handle a yank to open it. Yeti. The legend of the Yeti has intrigued explorers for centuries. Yips. The dog gave excited yips when it saw its owner. Yawn. A yawn spread through the room as the meeting dragged on. Yoke. The workers removed the yoke after the oxen finished plowing. Yogi. The yogi demonstrated impressive flexibility and strength. Yawn. Despite her best efforts, she couldn't stop yawning. Yarn. She loves to knit with soft, colorful yarn. Yeti. The creature, resembling a yeti, was part of local folklore. Yawn. The yawn was contagious, spreading to everyone in the room. Yoke. They attached the yoke to the oxen before beginning the day's work. Yelp. The loud yelp startled everyone in the room. Yoke. The wooden yoke was placed around the ox's neck. York. They visited York to see the famous cathedral. Yarn. She loves knitting with wool yarn during winter. Yolk. The egg's yolk was perfectly round and golden. Yawn. His yawn was a clear sign that he was ready for bed. Yarn. He told an entertaining yarn about his travels. Yoke. The yoke was made of sturdy wood. Yank. With a strong yank, he freed the rope from the tree. Yips. The puppy's excited yips filled the room. Yurt. They slept in a traditional yurt during their stay in Mongolia. 0. The temperature dropped to 0 degrees overnight. Zoom. The camera could zoom in on distant objects with ease. Zone. This area is a no parking zone during school hours. Zest. The chef added lemon zest to the dish for extra flavor. Zeal. She pursued her career with great zeal and determination. Zinc. Zinc is an essential mineral for maintaining good health. Zing. The sauce had a zing to it, thanks to the added chili peppers. Zebu. The zebu is a type of cattle known for its hump and resilience. Zeta. Zeta is the sixth letter of the Greek alphabet. Zany. The comedian's zany antics had everyone laughing. Zaps. The bug zapper zaps any insects that come near. Zips. The jacket zips up easily, keeping the cold out. Zaps. The robot zaps the targets with pinpoint accuracy. Zits. The teenager was upset about the zits on her face. Zigs. The runner zigs and zags to avoid obstacles on the path. Zaps. The superhero zaps the villain with a powerful blast. Zaps. The electrician warned about the dangers of zaps from faulty wiring. Zips. She zips her suitcase shut before heading to the airport. Zigs. The trail zigs and zags through the forest. Zaps. The device zaps pests with a small electric shock. Zaps. The laser zaps the target with precision. Zips. He zips through his homework in record time. Zigs. The car zigs to the left to avoid hitting the pothole. Zaps. The microwave zaps the food quickly. Zaps. The machine zaps the metal to weld it together. Zips. She zips up her coat to stay warm. Zigs. The rabbit zigs across the field to escape the predator. Zaps. The storm zaps the tree with lightning. Zaps. The arcade game zaps the player when they lose. Zips. The athlete zips around the track during the race. Zigs. The cyclist zigs through traffic to avoid delays. Zips. The child zips down the slide with a big smile. Zaps. The taser zaps the attacker with a jolt of electricity. Zaps. The bug zapper zaps mosquitoes near the patio. Zigs. The path zigs through the dense forest. Zips. The athlete zips through the finish line. Zaps. The laser zaps the asteroid in the video game. Zips. The hiker zips up his tent to keep out the cold. Zigs. The road zigs along the mountainside. Zaps. The electrician warns about the danger of zaps from faulty wires. Zips. She zips up her dress before heading out. Zigs. The skier zigs down the slope, avoiding obstacles. Zips. The zipper on his jacket zips up easily. Zaps. The stun gun zaps the target with an electric shock. Zips. The car zips past on the highway. Zigs. The dog zigs back and forth, chasing its tail. Zaps. The superhero zaps the enemy with a laser beam. Zips. The runner zips by, leaving everyone in the dust.